Hi, this is Brad Ferris from Anchor Advisors, and I want to take a couple minutes today to show you a tool that I use to help creative service firm owners to make key strategic decisions in their business. We want to start off by building a business that is shaped like the kind of business that we want to end up with. That shape is driven by the type of work that we choose to do and impacts the type of people that we hire. So we want to think strategically about that from the very beginning. Like most consultants, I love a good FourSquare Matrix. This one was originally developed by David Maister. The horizontal axis represents the degree of customization in the work that you do. So the more each engagement is different from the others, the further to the right it is. The more similar, the further to the left. The vertical axis measures the amount of face-to-face interaction that you have in your engagements. So if you do most of your work face-to-face with the client or in collaboration with the client, you're going to be high on that scale. If you do most of the work in your office, kind of behind the scenes, you're going to be much lower on that scale. To describe these four quadrants, we tend to use a medical analogy. The lower left quadrant, where we have low face-to-face interaction and low customization, is the pharmacy quadrant. If you think about the pharmacist behind the counter, doling out the pills, they're doing the same thing over and over again and don't have a ton of interaction with the client. As you go up in face-to-face interaction to the upper left, that's the nursing quadrant. Nurses are performing fairly similar tasks over and over again, but all of their work is done face-to-face with the client. Then as we move to the right, the high customization, high face-to-face interaction, that's like psychiatry. The psychiatrist obviously spends all of his or her time face-to-face with the client, and everything that they're doing is custom. Then in the lower right, we have the brain surgeons. The brain surgeons are doing very customized, high-skill work, but they're not necessarily face-to-face with the client. I mean, the client is there, but they're not conscious. They're not collaborating. So those are the four quadrants. The first thing we notice is if we draw a line from the lower left corner to the upper right corner, that's called the no profit line. The closer you are to that line, the less money you're going to make. Let me explain that a little bit. If you look in the upper right, the psychiatry quadrant, the psychiatrists are limited by the hours that they want to work times the rate that they can make for that work. So they don't have any way to leverage their time, and so it's strictly an hours times rate decision. If you go to the lower left, the pharmacist can get a lot of leverage. One head pharmacist can run a number of pharmacy techs. However, because it has low face-to-face interaction and doesn't require a lot of customization, this turns into a race to the bottom. It's the kind of work that gets outsourced to low-wage countries like Costa Rica or Vietnam. Let's look at the next two remaining quadrants. The nursing quadrant tends to have firms that are very pyramid-shaped. So if you think about a law firm or one of the big consulting firms that used to be attached to the accounting firms, there you have a few partners, and underneath them a greater number of managers, and then underneath them a larger number of associates. So that pyramid structure works really well where you have repeatable processes, things that you're doing over and over again, and there's a lot of it that's done in collaboration with the client. Here, you train those young people into a specific process of doing things, a way of getting the work done, and so once you've trained people, they can kind of do it again and again. The way that these firms make money is through leverage. Each of the partners keeps a book of business going that maintains the billability of everyone below them. The cost structure in these firms requires that you either need to get promoted or leave the firm on a pretty strict schedule to keep the pyramid shape as it goes up. That's the structure that works in very implementation-heavy firms. So if your business requires a lot of implementation, you might head toward this nursing structure. On the other hand, in the lower right corner, the brain surgeon, you have a much flatter organization where you need a team of experts. You have people that are highly experienced because they need that expertise in order to deliver on those highly customized engagements. The thing about brain surgeon firms is that they make their money through high fees. When you need brain surgery, you don't go out and look for the cheapest brain surgeon. You go out and look for the brain surgeon that's going to get the job done. So the brain surgery firms look for big, expensive problems that can justify those high fees. The problem with brain surgery is not everybody needs it. And so you need a huge network to get referrals in to produce enough work to keep the brain surgeon busy at their high fees. Now, there's a special version of the brain surgery firm, and that's sort of the celebrity firm. Here, I'm using Jay-Z as an example, because if you need Jay-Z, how much do you pay? You pay whatever it is that Jay-Z wants, right? And so that's the ultimate brain surgery firm when you get to that celebrity status. Now, see, the celebrity makes their money by selling their intellectual property. Jay-Z makes one performance or one recording and sells it to many people at the same time. You might make a book or a course and sell it over and over and over again. So the more people that watch it, the more leverage you get. Where do you see yourself on this scale? If you take your firm and place it on this chart, where do you end up? What kind of strategic choices does it make you think about needing to make? Does the type of firm you have and the way that you charge money line up strategically with the type of firm that you want to grow up to be? I'd love to hear how all this is making sense to you and where you fit on this chart. Drop me a comment below and let me know.